Hello everyone, this is a video on Dante's Divine Comedy, Paradiso, Canto 21. Already on my lady's face, mine eyes again were fastened, and with these my mind and from all other purpose was withdrawn. And she smiled not, but if I were to smile, she unto me began. Thou wouldst become like simile when she was turned to ashes, because my beauty, that along the stairs of the eternal palace more enkindles, as thou hast seen, the further we ascend. If it were tempered not, is so resplendent that all the mortal power in its effulgence would seem a leaflet that the thunder crushes. In the beginning of Paradiso Canto 21, Beatrice and Dante are in the sphere of Saturn. And Dante begins by saying that his eyes fell on Beatrice's face again and it diverted his mind from all other attention. And Beatrice did not smile at Dante. She herself explains it. If she were to smile at him, sh- Dante would be like Simile when she was turned to ashes. This is a reference to the mythical character Simile who wanted to see Jupiter in his glory, and when she saw Jupiter in all his glory, she was turned into ashes. So, Simile's mortal eyes were not able to bear the sight of Jupiter. So, this in the same way, according to Beatrice, her beauty, which is increasing as they ascend the stairs of paradise, further they ascend, it becomes more and more bright. And what happens is that the mortal power of Dante will not be able to bear it. And what will happen to him is that his spirit or Dante himself will be crushed like a leaflet in the thunder. We are uplifted to the seventh splendor that underneath the burning lion's breast now radiates downward mingled with his power. In these lines, Dante describes the seventh sphere, Saturn, shining brightly in the constellation of Leo. Now, Beatrice's advice to Dante continues. Fix in direction of thine eyes the mind, and make of them a mirror for the figure that is that in this mirror shall appear to thee. He who could know what was the pasturage my sight had in that blessed countenance when I transferred me to another care, would recognize how grateful was to me obedience unto my celestial escort by counterpoising one side with the other. So Beatrice is advising Dante to look into the direction to which in which he is actually moving, and his mind and eyes should reflect the same image. That means he shouldn't be distracted by her face or smile. Then Dante explains only that person who would understand how much he admired Beatrice will only know how difficult it was for him to transfer his attention from her and how obedient he was to Beatrice. It was due to his obedience to Beatrice that, or his care for her, that he diverted his attention from her. Otherwise, it was very much difficult for him. Celestial escort means Beatrice. So he balanced his his desire to look at her and his uh, obedience to her, and thus he obeyed her, because obeying Beatrice was more important than looking at her for him at that moment. Then he continues, within the crystal which around the world revolving bears the name of its dear leader, under whom every wickedness lay dead, colored like gold on which sunshine gleams, a stairway I beheld, to such a height uplifted that mine eyes pursued it not. Within the crystal which around the world revolving bears the name of its dear leader, under whom every wickedness lay dead, colored like gold on which the sunshine gleams, a stairway I beheld, to such a height uplifted that mine eye pursued it not. So it means within that sphere, which is bearing the name of the mighty monarch, uh, in whose presence wickedness could not stay alive. Within that sphere, there he saw a golden stairway, a stairway which led up to the height which is not actually pursued by his eye. It was so high that he couldn't pursue its end with his eyes. So he saw on that particular, what did he see on that ladder? That ladder is a golden ladder on which sunshine was shining. Sun was shining brightly. So Dante, when he turns his attention to the surroundings, he sees this golden ladder, and on which he saw brilliant lights are descending the stairs. Likewise, likewise beheld I down the steps descending so many splendors or lights, and I thought each light that in the heaven appears was there diffused. So all the lights in the heaven was diffused on the ladder. That's what he felt. So many uh, brilliant lights are coming down the stairs, and as accordant with their natural custom, the rooks together at the break of day bestirred themselves to warm their feathers cold. Then some of them fly off without return, others come back to where they started from, and others wheeling round still keep at home. So this is a metaphorical description of how the lights were moving. It's like the birds flying in the morning to warm their uh, wings. They, some of them will fly off without returning, others will come back to where uh, they have started, and others won't go far away, they'll be wheeling around. In the same manner, these lights are actually moving up and down, and they are not, some of them do not come back, but some of them are actually lingering there. Such fashion it appeared to me was there within the sparkling that together came, as soon as on a certain step it struck, and that which nearest to us remained became so clear that in my thought I said. So one particular light was coming closer to them, and he felt that it was showing some sort of an affection or a connection to them. Within his thought, he was actually addressing the light. Well, I perceive the love thou showest me, but she, from whom I wait the how and when of speech in silence, standeth still. Whence I against desire do well if I ask not. So actually, he is talking to himself. He says that I see that you have a love for me, but I want to get the consent of my escort, my guide. Beatrice in order to speak, or in order to when to speak or when not to speak. Regarding these things, I need her guidance, otherwise I won't speak. So even though I want to ask you something against my desire, I am actually keeping quiet. I'm not asking you because she is not giving me permission. She thereupon, who saw my silentness in the sight of him who seeth everything, said unto me, Let loose thy warm desire. So, so Beatrice saw that Dante was silent, he was not asking, and she realized that he was actually obeying her, even in the presence of God. So she felt a kind of compassion towards him, and she told him, please let loose your desire, you may ask. And I began, no merit of my own renders me worthy of response from thee, but for her sake who granteth me the asking, thou blessed life that dost remain concealed in thy beatitude, make known to me the cause which droveth thee so near my side. So he says, I'm not worthy enough to get an answer from you. You don't have to answer me. But since she has granted me permission to ask you, let me ask you, why, what draws you near me? Or you are actually concealed, you are actually some soul concealed within that light, you have a different entity than what I'm seeing. So why are you actually coming near me? I'm not sure whether you'll answer me, because you don't have to. I'm not worthy enough for an answer, but let me ask, because she has given me permission to ask. And tell me, why is silent in this wheel the dulcet symphony of paradise that through the rest below sounds so devotedly? So they are actually ascending from one uh, strata of paradise to another. So he's asking, next question, he's asking two questions to the particular light. First question is, why uh, this particular soul, out of all souls, chosen to draw near Dante? That is the first question. Second question is, why is the symphony of paradise, sweet music of paradise, is silent here? I can't hear the music that I heard earlier in the other spheres. So when we are ascending, why is it silent here? Then the answer comes, Thou hast thy hearing mortal as thy sight. So earlier we had mentioned that uh, Beatrice had warned him about his sight. His sight is mortal, he'll be crushed like a leaflet in the thunder. So, in the same manner, you have your hearing as a mortal hearing. They sing not here for the same cause that Beatrice has not smiled. Thus far adown the holy stairway steps have I descended, but to give thee welcome. So the light gives the answer to the second question first. Like for a second, he asked, like, why is the music silent here? Why I can't hear the music? Then the reason is that your hearing is mortal. Then about the first question. I came to welcome you, says the light, with words and with the light that mantles me, nor did more love cause me to be more ready for love, as much and more up there is burning, as doth the flaming manifest to thee. So what he says is that I wanted to welcome you with my flame, or with the light that I have, and with my words. It's my duty to welcome you, and it's not my love, like the love that I have for you, that drawn me towards you. Like more love was actually flaming in this heaven. It's not my special attention or attraction to you that brought me near you. But the high charity that makes us servants is referring to God. The high charity that makes us servants, prompt to the counsel which controls the world, allotteth here, even as thou dost observe. So it's my duty. I am actually uh, given the duty of welcoming you by God. Then Dante replies, I see full well, said I, O sacred lamp, how love unfettered in this court sufficeth to follow the eternal providence. But this is what seems hard for me to see. Wherefore predestinate wast thou was thou alone unto this office from among thy consorts. So the next question comes, like the third question. Okay, I can understand that love unfettered. You have unfettered, uncontrolled love for God. So you will obey God whenever you are ordered to do something. So this is a place where you don't resist anything because you have uncontrolled love for eternal providence and you obey him. But the question within me is that why were you alone were chosen for this duty while you have other companions over here? So when this question came, the third question came, there was another thing that is happening. No sooner had I come to the last word than of its middle made the light a centre, whirling itself about like a swift millstone. So the moment this question was asked, the light began to whirl. It began to circle. Then the whirling started like a whirlpool. It started circling. Then the answer came from within. Actually, not the. It was not a superficial answer from the light. The from deep within that light. Actually, the image that we have as a soul is having two parts. That's the image that we get from the poem. Like it is covered with light. Within the light, you have love. So the love was answering the question. On me directed is a light divine, piercing through this in which I am embosomed, of which the virtue with my sight conjoined lifts me above myself so far. I see the supreme essence from which this is drawn. Hence comes the joyfulness with which I flame. For to my sight, as far as it is clear, the clearness of the flame I equal make. So the clarity of my sight comes from the divine light that I share. God has given me my share of supreme essence, or uh, the joy that I enjoy right now is the result of my connection to God. God has actually poured His divine light upon me. But that doesn't answer the question why I was chosen. But that soul in the heaven which is most pure, that seraph which his eye on God most fixes, could this demand of thine not satisfy? But this question won't be answered even by the angel, which which is very close to God, which stays closer to God, because the divine will is unknown to the creations. So even that angel won't be able to answer your question, because so deeply sinks in the abyss of the eternal statute what thou askest from the created side it is cut off. So what you are asking is within the eternal divine law. We don't know, we creations do not know anything about it. And to the mortal world when thou returnest, this carry back that it may not presume longer towards such a goal as to move its feet. So the like the particular light or the soul or this this particular soul is actually giving an advice to Dante to be taken to the mortals in the world. When you return to the mortal world, please tell them that don't strive to find an answer for such complicated questions, like uh, questions which won't be answered by any creations. So do not presume to move towards such a goal as to find out certain things which are not known to the mortal uh, creations. Then he says, the mind that shineth here on earth doth smoke. Like we have found that the mortal power of um, Dante is actually not capable of bearing things, bearing the sensory, um, yeah, the music and sights of the particular sphere is not something that can be borne by Dante. So this is considered to be the heaven of the contemplators. So everything that is very much visible or audible in the other spheres are now they seem more subdued here in this sphere Saturn. So the contemplator's heaven, which is Saturn, that that is capable of sensing things in a different level, for which Dante is not yet ready. So what he says is that the mind that shineth here other souls can actually experience, the contemplators can experience the sights and the sounds of this sphere. It's only Dante who's not able to um, sense that. So what the light says is that the mind that shines in this sphere, they will smoke in the on the earth. On the earth they won't have that clear vision or hearing capacity on earth, even those people who can. From this observe, how can it do below that which it cannot through the heaven assume it. So Dante cannot sense these sounds and sights of heaven. Even those who can do that will actually find everything vague on earth. They cannot actually find answers to certain questions on earth. So how can the mortal vision and hearing can find answers to such complex questions? So that's why the light asks him to take the message to the mortals, not to try not to try to find answers to certain um, complex questions regarding God and his ways.